Hello and welcome to Parker's Pitch, and welcome to the 2023-2024 season. The Premier League is back, everyone. Man, just like that, we are back, and I'm so excited. We have a new manager, an exciting style of football that we've all been missing. We've all been crying out for an exciting style of football, high-intensity pressing. We just want exciting football again, and we finally have it. And obviously disappointed last weekend with the draw against Brentford, but it's always a tough place to go, right? I mean, how many points did we pick up there last season? I think 0, so it's been tough. But, there's more to come from us, and this weekend is against Manchester United, and that's what this segment's all about, previewing the Manchester United game. So, joining me will be James Routledge. He is a Manchester United fan from New Zealand, and he will be joining us to talk a little bit about Manchester United in the upcoming game, and give us a different perspective, and what to expect from Manchester United this weekend. So, also, Leo will be joining me as well from Mile High Hotspur. You all know him. So, so welcome to the pitch, and here we go. James, welcome to the pitch. Parker's Pitch is the first time you've been here, so welcome.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, awesome.
Also joining me today is Leo. You guys all know Leo from Mile High Hotspur. He'll be joining me. Some extra content there. So, James, tell me a little bit about yourself. What made you, become a Manchester United fan? Just really quickly.
To be completely honest, it's probably because when I was growing up, they were winning everything. My uncle is from Manchester, so he was always sending photos or talking to us about going to Old Trafford. And I think when I was younger, I was always playing football, so it kind of just stuck with me. And then, like I said, you're turning on the TV and I'm seeing them win Premier League after Premier League, so it's just something that was easy to follow. And then it's kind of, obviously, as I've gotten older, I've associated more and more with them and got to know the club a lot more. It's, the one I want to follow and want to support.
Yeah, understandable. I mean, I know Manchester United are like the most followed club in the world, so yeah. It's easy to follow them, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about Erik ten Hag, because he's done a great job so far for you guys. First season in, got a trophy under your belt already. Do you think he's the answer for you guys? How optimistic are you for this season?
I think if you'd ask any United fan before Ten Hag came in, they don't care. They just want someone that kind of maybe understands the club. We've gone through a number of, I don't want to say defensive coaches, but not very exciting kind of football. Van Gaal David Moyes obviously started there after Fergie, and he wasn't great, wasn't very exciting. Went to Van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, just not very exciting kind of appointments. And then our club's kind of in disarray the past couple of years, spending big on transfers, doing things that maybe fans aren't liking what they see. All of a sudden, Ten Hag comes in. It seems like he has a plan. He's a disciplinarian. He got rid of Ronaldo. That was a big call. I think that was probably a massive fork in the road for him in his management. Ronaldo's not happy, and he's probably the second greatest player of all time, and he's just saying, okay, then we don't want you. So I think that's such a ballsy move from a manager, which is something that United have maybe been lacking over the past decade or so since Sir Alex Ferguson. So is he the answer? I don't know. Is the answer for right now? I think we're all excited to see we're actually playing football with some kind of style, or at least he's trying to do something which is at least recognizable, which is nice. And I think the fans can relate to that. And like I said, I don't know how it's going to go this season. I'm optimistic just because we did well last year. It seems like we're putting pieces together, but we still need a few extra pieces, I think.
You guys won the League Cup last year, so I mean, him coming in has done something good for you guys. Before that, It was Mourinho, right, that won the Europa League. I think that might have been the last trophy. So, yeah.
You'd think I would be more excited about Mourinho's time at the club because of the massive European trophy or whatever, and he came second in the league. He did really, really well, but in comparison to, I don't know, all the other things surrounding the club, all the Pogba drama, all the drama about the players not wanting to play, not fighting for the badge, all that kind of stuff, I think is kind of dissipated with Ten Hag's appointment. So very happy.
I think.
Go ahead, Parker. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, and I think spending really hasn't been the issue for you guys over the last, ever, pretty much the last decade or so. So I think, Ten Hag definitely has had a change in your club, just because, I mean, you guys have always had the money, but Leo, I mean, if we had the money that Manchester United has spent, if we've spent that kind of money, I mean, where do you think we would be right now?
I think we wouldn't be too far away from where we are now. I don't think the money's been the issue. I think just the direction, the way our football club has been run, and the football we've been playing is to blame. Playing the system that we did with Mourinho, right, and then Nuno, we really don't even need to talk about his 3 months in charge. But then Conte, it's similar to Mourinho, right? Defensively minded, not attacking for first football. And so I think whether we would have had all these big guys, Bastoni, all these people that we all wanted, 2 years and a year ago, it would have made no difference, bro. We would have still been in the same. We would still be in the same boat right now, right? We would have been in need of a rebuild. And now, that we have something. But now that we have Ange, a different system, a different philosophy. James, could you rule out Tottenham win? I don't know, Parker, what kind of questions you wanted to ask the homie, but just real quick, just like Ten Hag came in and was able to, the League Cup is the first trophy that's handed out apart from the Community Shield. That's the first trophy that's handed out in England, right? Is there, do you think there's a possibility in us probably being able to duplicate that, with Ange Postecoglou first year?
I don't see why not. I think everything I've seen about Ange, and living in Australia now, he's Australian, so obviously I'm seeing a lot of the stuff from back home and what he used to do, and where he's been to Japan and Celtic and stuff. Wherever he's gone, he's had success. So I think probably, unfortunately, maybe the rug's been pulled out a little bit underneath him with selling Kane in the last week or so. Is kind of, when you go into a club like that, you have a world-class striker. Everything seems, you can build on that, and then all of a sudden you have to change. So I think it's going to be hard to adjust to not having how many goals did he have? 30 out of the 70 or 20 out of the 70 that you had last season, something like that. So I think it's going to be hard adjustment to find those goals somewhere else. But if there's one thing that Ange Postecoglou team has always had, is goals, some sort of back and forth football. So I don't see why not. Honestly, the League Cup could be anyone's game. That's the beauty of it, that it's straight knockout. It's a limited format, so I don't see why you couldn't do well there. I think I'm waiting to see how well your team does with Ange, to be honest. I've only seen one game. I was quite impressed, but I think this weekend is an interesting test against one of the big boys. So for us as well. So I'm excited to see how it goes and how you guys can do this season.
Yeah. And you were talking about how Ten Hag has a disciplinary philosophy. What other kind of philosophy does he have, and what do you what should we expect of the kind of football this weekend?
I think right now in the Premier League, probably what's kind of dominating is something that the tactical aspect is what Pep set out in terms of having the inverted fullbacks coming in front of the back four. So Ten Hag coached at Bayern Munich with Pep, so I imagine his mentality is kind of same. It's in kind of rigid, needs to be a little bit more free flowing. I think from what we saw in our game against Wolves it was a little bit too rigid at times. What I'm looking to see from him is a little bit of tactical evolution. This isn't working, that isn't working. All right, let's change it. Let's do something else, which is something I didn't see last week, which is slightly concerning. But he's a top quality manager. I think whenever he talks with conviction, and I feel like he lays his ideas plainly out. So I think we can follow along and see what he does. He doesn't seem like someone that's going to hide behind good results or hide behind players or scapegoating. So it's nice to see a manager that's going to take responsibility instead of offloading to the players. I think the Ronaldo thing is massive. Just to go back to it, I think it's massive just to show he's not going to take any stick from anybody. If you're not bought in 100%, see you later. So that's something I think, once again, I think the fans can really, really relate to.
Yeah, absolutely. What player on Manchester United do you think will have the biggest impact this season? And do you think we'll see a lot of them this weekend, or what do you think? Who do you think?
I would have said before the start of the last game, I would have said Garnacho was going to kick on and be probably, if you had to have one to watch, it's probably Garnacho. Maino, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He's injured now. He's playing preseason as a defensive midfielder. He was fantastic in preseason. So I would say it was Garnacho. He did start against Wolves, and I thought it was quite poor, to be honest. I think Pellistri also, it's between Garnacho and Pellistri. They're both kind of similar wingers, quick, sharp dribblers, beat you 1v1, create things, which is something, we seem to be kind of overloaded with. Jadon Sancho. We have Rash that plays out wide. We have Anthony as well. So we have a lot of players out there. But I think the biggest thing for this season will probably be Garnacho. Can he become that regular, consistent starter? Because I think he's absolutely electric. Whenever he's on the ball, it's, he's the kind of get you out of your seat kind of player, which we haven't had in a while. I think all football fans just like to see someone that's going to go and take somebody on 1v1, a little bit of flair. I'd have to say Garnacho. If he stays healthy, stays fit, stays consistent, it's kind of a season of going from a boy to a man for him, I think. And if he kicks on, I think we have a really, really good top player on our team. I guess we'll see in a few weeks, few games. We'll see how he does.
He's definitely a player for the future, right? He's definitely an exciting player, and so you guys have a lot to see from him in the future. So, what about Spurs? Who are you most concerned about? Who do you think can punish you guys? And you already talked about Harry Kane leaving and stuff. He can't punish you this weekend. So who do you think is going to be the guy for you guys?
Probably, I think when I saw you guys play last week, I was thinking James Maddison had some sort of free roll, kind of just go and get the ball, do whatever you want. I don't know how structured that was, if how free flowing it was. I think we'll see in a couple games if that's if he's been told to stop doing that or whatever. But I thought he was fantastic in the pockets of space that he picked up the ball and was dangerous going forward. Ironically, those are the pockets of space that we were leaving open against Wolves. So I'm actually relatively concerned about Maddison finding either side of Casemiro, either those wide kind of pockets and floating balls in. I would have been more concerned if it was Harry Kane he was floating crosses in as opposed to Richarlison, but I still think James Maddison, Son can turn it on at any moment. So those are probably the two that come to mind that I think he could open up the game in a moment of brilliance or just their quality. So I have to say Maddison or Son, I think, really.
Leo, what do you think about our front three?
Real quick.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So now that we've gotten Mickey van der Ven, does for you being a opposition fan, does that raise the level? When you think that Spurs just got Mickey van der Ven, does that instill any at least at least their back four is not what it used to be, or is Mickey van der Ven just something that us Spurs fans are blowing up because we're just in such dire need of a center back? Whoever we're linked to, we're gonna big them up as much as possible. And then when we get our man, we're like, we got our man, but the rest of the world's just
he play well. I think I'd have to agree. It's kind of. It's not as dire as maybe Everton, whereas any signing's a good signing. Get anybody. I don't care. It's anybody that wasn't playing last season. I don't think it's as drastic as that, but I do think it's a big piece. I mean, it depends. How I hate to say you've had a turnover of coaches and maybe a little bit of identity. What are you guys trying to do? Maybe with Ange, is a little bit more structured possession, play out, build out from the back. He's also rapid, isn't he? So
complete 180. It's a complete 180. It's what we're seeing. It's crazy.
So
I love it.
I think you'll see. I think it's been going trending this way for a while in terms of high pressing teams, and the top six of the teams that tend to be the best at pressing, besides an off game or a one-off game from a lower team that's pressing somebody really high. And I think that whenever you have quick Davinson Sanchez, whether he stays or not, he's also rapid. So to have those two there to deal with maybe balls over the top, it helps you push up and just put higher pressure, which I think is kind of standard and kind of necessary in this football tactical climate, if that's what you want to call it. But with Pep building out from the back, with Liverpool building out from the back, with all these teams building out from the back, you need to find a way to put pressure on them. And I think he's a great signing to allow you to step that back line up to be able to put pressure further up the field, which I think can only ever be a good thing. We'll see. Time will tell. One game, jury's out.
Yeah, he's a young defender, so he's got some time to to prove himself. But I think he did pretty well for his first game in for Spurs, especially with only a couple practices in. He fit right in, I thought, and I think he's he's an
If
exciting.
you guys are happy, that's the main thing, right? If you guys are happy with what you're seeing, you're the ones that watch the Spurs games as well.
First game,
I appreciate that.
We can't complain after that first game for
Yeah.
as far as it goes for Mickey Van de Ven. So,
But Parker, you did ask me about I know you were going to ask me what I thought about the Man United, their players, right? Is that the question you were going to say?
Oh no, I was going to ask you about our front three because I'm concerned personally about our front three. So I just wanted to get your opinion, just so other Spurs fans can get another opinion about it. And what do you think about it? Are you concerned or not yet?
I'm not really concerned because I think our front three was we needed to rely on our front three a lot more in a different system with Conte and Mourinho, as to where this system that we're playing in, we're not necessarily that reliant on our front three, if that makes sense. We're more reliant on different areas of the pitch, right? Which is our two number 8s now that we have and our number 6. And to have Emerson Royale invert and tuck in while Udogie goes up, or opposite, Udogie tucks in when Royale takes off. So the front three, I think, are the ones that should actually have some slack cut out for them. They just have to press a lot, Parker. I think is what's going to be newer to them, is having to press a lot more instead of sitting back, instead of falling back. So as long as they have some legs on them, bro, and they're able to press, and when they do get the ball, we talk about it, bro. I think Solomon and Perisic is a lot more deadlier combination than Sonny and Kulu, right? But that's just from our perspective, bro. That's not maybe that's not what Ange thinks, No. So if it was me, I would definitely prefer them because they're more entertaining to me to watch them play than it is to watch Sonny and Kulu.
I totally agree. They were very underwhelming this last weekend. I mean, we didn't see anything from Kulu. He just passed it back every time, and Sonny was
just carrying on.
Yeah, it's the same thing from last season. We had a great start from Kulusevski when he first joined the club, but then he's kind of fallen off. And then Son, he gave up a penalty this weekend. He was trying to take the ball off Madison before the free kick. I was like, no, why are you you're not a free, just don't even touch the ball. So it's been, it's kind of what we've been expected though. Like what you said, Leo, we've expected that from what last season showed us. So, both of our goals came from defenders against Brentford. So, but it didn't seem like Richarlison was lacking effort. He was making the runs in, I felt like, and he was being aggressive. I thought he could have actually scored that first goal if Romero wasn't there because he was right next to him. So if it wasn't Romero, it would have been Richarlison. So I think he's almost there. He's being aggressive. He's getting in the right places. It's just not quite there yet. But we have Madison,
and he doesn't blow us the game, bro. We'll be okay as long as Richarlison isn't at fault for us blowing the game. Then, in my opinion, he did his job, right? Because Richarlison's job is not to be a poacher, not to be a target man. It's not to be. It's to he's got to sometimes be a false nine. You know what I mean? He's got to sometimes give up those opportunities for the other players to make the play happen. So
I know. I don't know if Richarlison's that kind of player. I don't know. We'll see though. But let's move on a little. Let's move on for a minute and talk about goalkeepers. So both of us have gotten goalkeepers this season. You guys acquired. Let's see, what is his name? Onana, am I saying it right? Onana, yeah. Tell me about him. What do you expect from him this season? We've seen good stuff so far, at least personally. So
I think honestly, there's a hot take. Okay, Onana is the best signing that we have had. I want to say 10 years, maybe 8 years. Definitely, this is a change of everything that we've done. This is equivalent to Man City buying Edison, Liverpool buying Alisson, and that happened 5 years ago, 6 years ago or something. So this is a massive shift from anything we've done. Onana was best goalkeeper in Champions League last year. He's going to help us build from the back. Just comparing him to David De Gea, I love David De Gea. Absolute legend of the club. Been there long time. Deserved a little bit better of a send-off, but he was fantastic at shot stopping, could not play out to save his life, right? Whereas Onana looks like he's a bloody center midfielder that plays goalkeeper because he's just so calm, so composed, put the ball long, put the ball short. He can play around someone. He can beat someone 1v1 if they're rushing in. So I think what we see from Onana is a calm presence on the ball. And to be honest, off the ball, what I've seen in preseason, he's not afraid to get stuck into his back four, to yell at them, scream at them, tell them where he wants them. So I think we're going to be dealing with some sort of general from the back, which is music to my ears. Honestly, it's so nice, because we've had De Gea, who, like I said, I don't ever want to speak poorly of him, but he definitely didn't like grab the back four by the scruff of the neck and tell them what we're doing, shift left, shift right. You know, you guys need to stop scoring, stop conceding goals. You know, it was there's a lot of things that are going to change. Most of it, I would say, is in possession. I also think he's much more dominant in the air, coming out for crosses, punches, challenging in the air, whereas De Gea was much more, wanted to stand his line and use reaction shot stopping, as opposed to coming out and kind of dominating a corner or dominating a floating cross or something. So it's going to be very different from what we've seen from a United keeper.
Onana kind of has it all, like compared to De Gea was really specifically good at stopping the ball, but like Onana has like everything, right? I
would say so. It's hard. It's not like he's a tremendously better player than De Gea, but I think in terms of playing out from the back and then how much focus there is on using because if he's your free man, right? The goalkeeper's your free man. If they're playing man for man, their goalkeeper's not man marking, so it's 10v10 in the middle. Your goalkeeper's your free player. It's just what he can do on the ball. Is he as good a shot stopper? Who knows? I don't know. We'll see how he deals with the Premier League, but I'm not worried about his physicality. I'm not worried about him on the ball. I'm not worried about his leadership. I'm not really worried about him at all. So I'm very excited to see how far he can take our team and how he can influence us from the back.
Yeah, and most goalkeepers can stop the ball. I mean, that's what they're supposed to be able to do, right? So I mean, you should expect him to be able to at least do that on top of what he can already do. So for us, we acquired Vicario. So far, what I've seen from him, been a little shaky. You know, I don't think we got as quite of a good deal as you guys got on Onana, but so I can't say his name very well. But so he's played some preseason games for us too. Still no clean sheets, so there's still some time for him to develop as a keeper. Leo, what do you think so far of Vicario?
I think he's gonna how do I say this? He's gonna have a huge job trying to protect our goal, because our defense has been so suspect, right? Our hopes are now that with Van der Ven and Romero, that will definitely shore up. But in the worst case scenario, let's say, it takes a while for that, for them to get a good bond together, then we're gonna be giving up some goals, and that's not all Vicario's fault. Is what I'm trying to get at. Like, he's gonna have to burden a lot of the blame unwillingly. That's just gonna have to be how it is, because our defense is gonna take a while to gel. Hopefully not, right? The aim is for them to start firing on all cylinders. But worst case scenario, we're talking it's Christmas time and they're barely finding form together. Well, we've probably let a lot of fucking goals come in between then and now. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I see a lot of goals coming in. Vicario seems to get left in nowhere's land a lot. Like, he goes outside of his goal a lot, and it's very nervy to me.
Probably what he's expected to do though, too. You know what I mean? If he was doing that without Andrew's permission, then I'm pretty sure Andrew would be yelling at him like, "Hey, like."
He probably is, but I also think that he'll settle in. He's still new to the club. He's a young goalkeeper. Like, he needs some time, and I think he's also going to be good with his feet, because Lloris wasn't very good at his feet, but he also kind of looks like a Lloris out there, where he comes out of goal a lot, tries to sweep the ball a lot, but Lloris wasn't good with his feet, and that's kind of why we bought Vicario, because he's supposed to be good with his feet, but we haven't seen that yet. Moving on, I want to talk about injuries for Manchester United, because I know you guys have an injury to one of your new signings. Højlund, is it?
I think if he said Holland, I think it's very similar to Haaland, which is a bit unfortunate.
Okay.
But yeah, he's injured, which sucks, because we needed a striker for so long, and then we end up signing a young injured one, so that's fun. But
how much money was he?
Pardon?
How much did you spend on Højlund?
I think he was 65, 70. I think it was about 70 mil, which is, unfortunately, in today's kind of financial climate, it seems to be pretty run of the mill, which is shocking.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited because we finally signed someone. Unfortunately, it seemed like a little bit haphazard. It seemed like we were going for Kane. That was the main target. We're going to go and try and buy Harry Kane. And then all of a sudden, Daniel Levy said we're not going to sell Kane to someone in the Premier League. And so we've gone, oh no, that was our plan. That was plan A and B and C. So it seems like, I imagine we have players in the scouting department that we have on file or shortlist or something. But it seemed like not rush, just maybe not the first choice, which isn't ideal. It's just interesting to see how he's going to fit in with us. I think we've needed a 9 just because Rashford's not a 9. I think there was also, I don't know if you guys know about Mason Greenwood. Like there's this whole situation surrounding him. If we're going to bring him back to the club, if we're not, the way it's playing out seems like they wanted to bring him back until they saw all the backlash they were going to have, which maybe influenced a little bit of, okay, we'll put a little bit of money into a younger striker because we have Mason Greenwood coming back. I don't know, but unfortunately he's injured, so you won't see Holland this weekend.
Is Greenwood coming back?
Sorry?
Do you think he's coming back?
Don't honestly, as a coin flip, I think it's a terrible decision if they bring him back. I think it's awful. I don't know if you so it's an awful decision to even keep him on with the club. I think it's time to cut ties, and that's not something we want around our club. It's not the kind of energy or the chatter we want around Manchester United, you know. So
and you don't know if he's going to be as good as he was before all the allegations happened. I mean, it'll be taking a big risk, huge risk to bring him back, right?
Yeah, it's I don't see what's the value of, like, maybe you bring someone back. The hard thing is he was supposed to be like a prodigy, like Mason Greenwood coming through the academy was supposed to be like, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said he's the best finisher he's ever seen in the United team, and he's played with Rooney, he's played with, he's seen Van Persie at United, so there's a massive it's just a really nice thing to say about a young player. So obviously they had put a lot of stock in Greenwood, and then things have gone slightly off the rails. I don't want to get too much into it, but I would say it's time to move on and not put any eggs in that basket anymore.
Yeah, and I think you guys can get a decent amount of money for him. And he's been at the club forever. You didn't pay any money for him. You just cut ties, move on, and he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. Like, he was, really had a lot of potential. He was scoring a lot even before everything happened. So I think you guys will get a decent amount of money for him if you do sell him. I don't know, but
it depends. Are we going to sell him? Or are we going to terminate his contract like we did with Ronaldo? Who knows? It's really up in the air.
And didn't Manchester United just come out with a statement today, like, as basically saying it's up to the CEO?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It seems like here's the buck. Let me just pass it on to the next person. They're all passing around in the circle. Someone just make a decision,
That's a tough call, man. At the end of the day, that's a tough call, man.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, do you do something that politically is like incorrect, but at the same time, like, politically it's correct? You know what I mean?
But if the CEO decides it, then nobody can blame anybody but him. So it's like, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. You're setting someone up to be a scapegoat regardless of what happens. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm not really optimistic about it, which sucks because he was a great player, but apparently a terrible human being. So there's that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So let's talk about score predictions. Let's start with Leo. Leo, what do you think the score is going to be?
8-0. I'm kidding, bro. I'm kidding.
You guys aren't going to lose 8-0. Don't be like that.
No, I was going to say, we're not going to let up 8 goals. There's no way we're going to let up 8 goals. No, it all depends. If Casemiro's in your guys' lineup, is he fit?
Yeah, he's fit. So is he actually fit, or is he fit? Is he Is he match fit? I don't know, but he'll be there. He'll be playing for sure.
He's to me, he's like one of those Nicholas Parties. You know what I mean? If he's in the lineup, I'm worried. You know what I mean? Because we're in for a midfield battle. At least that was last year, right? To be fair, that was last year. This year, we have a different mindset. I think if we could come out and boss the midfield, which is something we didn't do at all last year. If we could definitely boss the midfield with Madison, who else? That's Sar. I'm hoping we see Sar, and I hope we see Basuma, right? If we could do those 3, we're definitely gonna boss the midfield. I'm just hoping we let in the less amount of goals that game. And with that being said, I think we will win 3-2.
3-2.
Okay.
But United for us is definitely a good test right now because you guys, if you're looking at it at a bigger picture, you guys have a year under Ten Hag,
Mhm.
right? So we're a year behind, right? So
Sure.
it'll definitely be a good test to gauge where we're at, whether we win or lose. I'll be happy with a draw. Don't get me wrong, right? The reason I think it's going to be either a draw or a win that we'll win is because we're at home. If this was at Old Trafford, it's a different story, right? And so yeah.
Good point. James, what about you?
I'm a little bit concerned about United, to be honest, just because from what I saw against Wolves, who are not an absolute Premier League juggernaut.
You guys should have lost that game, maybe. That's what I've heard.
Probably, I think we definitely got very lucky getting out of there without conceding a goal and winning the game. I think is using up all your luck on the first day is not great. I think I could see. I see you scoring. I see Spurs scoring. I think maybe United just has too much in the tank, or I think Ten Hag is one of the things I like about him. I mentioned earlier. I think he can evolve, and so I think he'll see what we had wrong last week, maybe, or things he can improve. So I'm thinking that he's going to change something to shore up our midfield, make sure Casemiro isn't so lonely in the middle there. So I think I can see us being a little bit better. Like you said, you're a year behind maybe with Ange. I'm seeing United winning 2-1 maybe. I'm seeing a set piece goal in there somewhere. But yeah, I think maybe we just have just a bit too much. And to be fair, I think we defend relatively well. So I'm quite optimistic about Onana and our back four being able to keep you guys quiet. But I think, if Maddison plays like he did last week and he finds the pockets he was last week, I could see he could pull a few strings and I could see us being in trouble, to be honest. But yeah, United to win 2-1, I think. Am I biased? Maybe, but yeah, we'll see.
Hey, we all are. It's okay.
You have to be.
I think historically speaking, I think Spurs do okay against Manchester United. We win, we lose. It's not like Liverpool where we literally always lose against Liverpool. I don't know if you know that, but it's pretty ridiculous. But yeah, I think if Maddison also has the same game as he had last week, I can see Richarlison really coming out of his shell this game at home, and I'm really hoping that he gets a goal just to kind of help his confidence up, and I think it'll really help him throughout the season. We just need an early goal, and I don't want him to get in his head even more than he already is. So I mean, what I want to happen and what I think will happen will be two different things. I think it'll be 2-2 draw, and I think Richarlison will get at least one. Because I think he's putting in the effort, like I said earlier. He's always making the runs. It just hasn't happened. But I think if he keeps doing it, it's going to happen. First game at home, it's going to be an exciting game. So, but a tough game against Manchester United. I mean, so that's why I think 2-2.
I'm going. Just to add to that, Parker, you said Richarlison, you hyped me up enough. I'm going with a brace from Richarlison.
Yeah.
How many Premier League goals did he score last year?
Don't worry about it, bro.
He's going to double it. He's going to double his Premier League goals
against Manchester United. I'm hoping for one goal at least. Just one goal from him. That's all I want.
This might be the only 2 goals he scores all season.
Yeah,
we'll see. Hey, if he peaks in the second game of the season, it'd be okay. I don't know. I do
want to say that I want to see Manor Solomon come in for Son at some point. And I know Son is the captain. He got subbed off early last game. Hopefully it happens again because he's very underwhelming for me. He's past his prime. I mean, obviously I love Son and what he's done for the club. It's just he's past his prime. So I want to see somebody else in there. I want to see Solomon come up, and it's going to be a tough game. So yeah. That's pretty much it. So
guess we'll see.
So anyway, thanks James for coming on to the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe to all of our channels. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, you name it, we're on there. So don't forget to look us up, Mile High Hotspur. And that's it for Parker's Pitch. Do you guys have anything else to say?
No worries.
And we play Manchester United twice a year. So again.
Yeah, no worries. You guys let me know. I'll make myself available. It's fun. I can talk about football forever, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you should definitely come and chat again, bro.
Yeah, all right, guys. Well, it was a pleasure to have you both on, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome.
Come on, you Spurs.
Break it down.